Hey guys, today we trudge straight into the green maze of the Amazon rainforest, where sunlight barely touches the floor and the air tastes like wet leaves and old secrets. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. While you're at it, drop your location and local time in the comments. I'd love to know where and when you're tuning in from. You barely brush aside a curtain of vines when it happens. You lock eyes with something above you. The canopy seems still, but your instincts scream otherwise. You squint, heart skipping. Then you spot it, a vine that blinks. It's a snake, coiled and watching. Welcome to the treetop nightmare. Above you, the Amazon's vertical world hosts an elite squad of silent hunters. Harpy eagles, for example, feathered tanks with talons the size of grizzly claws. They could pluck a monkey, or your drone, straight from the air with zero apology. You stare skyward, realizing just how many levels of doom this jungle has. A little to your left, something chirps, deceptively cute. It's the call of the Brazilian wandering spider. Yep, the one whose venom could ruin your entire week, and that's the PG version. It hides in tree bark and banana leaves, waiting to surprise you like a bad Tinder date. You slowly back away. Smart. Now, if you think you can out-tech this forest, think again. Explorers once designed a canopy walkway, an engineering marvel that allowed scientists to study life high above the forest floor without disturbing it. A literal bridge through danger, like walking across a tightrope suspended over a blender. Spoiler, one snapped in the 1990s. Oops. And just as you're catching your breath, a shadow crosses your shoulder, probably a fruit bat, but in this place, probably isn't comforting. Aviation grandeur here doesn't always mean mechanical. Sometimes it's leathery wings and sonar clicks that brush your senses like ghost fingers. The incredible theme revolves around extraordinary human achievements, natural wonders and adventurous exploration, but right now, your main achievement is not screaming out loud. You step off a moss-slicked log, and suddenly you're knee-deep in water. Cool, murky, slow-moving. Harmless, right? Wrong. This is the Amazon, where even puddles have teeth. The river whispers, curls, then churns, and you realize this isn't just a stream. It's a buffet line for apex predators. Something drifts past your ankle. Too smooth, too silent. You freeze. Then, the water pulses with electricity, a warning zap from the Amazon's most underrated assassin, the electric eel. Not actually an eel, more like a weird, twitchy battery with gills. It can deliver up to 600 volts. Enough to knock you out cold, face first into drowning. You slosh backward toward higher ground when it snap. Did a branch fall? Nope. That's the explosive launch of a black caiman's jaw. These prehistoric reptiles, engineering marvels in ambush design, are the croc's bulkier, angrier cousin. They blend into muddy banks so well you'd swear the log winked at you before it lunged. And just when you think you've found a shallower bend to cross, congrats, you've entered the dark lair of the kangaroo. A tiny fish with an evil resume. If your swimsuit isn't sealed tighter than a space capsule, it might decide to explore places that don't need exploring. Surgery? Yes. Regret? Endless. Ironically, the region once hosted floating science stations, hovering like futuristic rafts of hope amid nature's danger. These platforms, engineering masterpieces, allowed researchers to glide through tributaries while dodging flesh rippers below. Kind of like studying volcanoes from a hoverboard. You imagine yourself on one, sipping something icy, far from phone range. A pair of scarlet macaws shoot overhead, their colors so vivid it's like nature downloaded a paint pack. Their flight? Sheer aviation grandeur, grace and noise in glorious contradiction. You follow their path skyward, which is a mistake, because the water just moved again. The incredible theme revolves around extraordinary human achievements, natural wonders and adventurous exploration, but here, your biggest exploration is the difference between still water and ambush staging zone. You finally find dry ground. Sort of. It's spongy, littered with leaves, and the kind of quiet that feels like something's holding its breath. You take a cautious step. The jungle doesn't react. You take another. Then the ground bites back. It starts with a sting, a flash of pain so sharp you almost drop your pack. You look down and there it is, a bullet ant, clinging to your boot like it owns it. The sting is legendary, like getting shot and then set on fire. Locals call it the 24-hour ant. Not because it takes a day to die from, but because the pain drags on like a bad breakup, epic and dramatic. You flick it off and move carefully now, trying not to disturb the undergrowth. But nature's got other plans. Just beneath the leaf litter, a coiled fer-de-lance watches you with eyes like polished amber. This pit viper doesn't rattle or hiss, it just waits. Camouflage dialed to perfection, it's a stealth mode serpent with venom that dissolves tissue like it's tenderizing dinner. You sidestep instinctively and nearly plant your hand on something that looks like a leafy clump. Surprise, it's a tarantula the size of a dinner plate. You both freeze. It rears up, showing off fangs like sewing needles. You mumble an apology. It doesn't care. Classic rainforest. Once, a daring team of engineers tried building an overland research trail with vibration sensors to detect snake movement, an ambitious marvel meant to outsmart ground predators. The jungle laughed, then flooded it. Twice. That trail's now more myth than map, swallowed by roots and revenge. Above, a toucan flaps lazily by aviation grandeur in comic form. Like a banana with wings, but somehow, it glides with absolute elegance. You almost laugh, until you remember you're walking on a live minefield of teeth and venom. The incredible theme revolves around extraordinary human achievements, natural wonders and adventurous exploration, but in this moment, your greatest achievement is still having ankles. Something buzzes past your ear fast, high-pitched, and way too confident for something so small. You swat it on instinct, but the jungle laughs again. You just missed a mosquito. Not just any mosquito, of course. This is Anopheles darlingi, the Amazon's needle-nosed angel of death, and your biggest risk for malaria this side of the equator. You've made peace with the idea that every wing beat could be the beginning of a fever. And those aren't just sweat drops on your neck anymore. You hear a soft whir, like a drone with a grudge, and spot something that looks like a cross between a beetle and an assassin. That's because it is an assassin bug. This little vampire stabs, sucks, and leaves you with Chagas disease as a nasty souvenir. Romance is dead. You move faster now, but the colors start to mess with you. Neon green? Electric blue? Those aren't bird feathers, they're frogs. Poison dart frogs, to be precise. Adorable to look at, lethal to touch. Their skin secretes batrachotoxin, just a speck can paralyze or kill you. They're basically rainforest Sour Patch Kids. Cute, then cruel. Despite the horror, you can't help admiring how outrageously beautiful everything is. Evolution didn't just paint these animals, it bedazzled them. The Amazon is like nature's version of an unhinged fashion show, and the frogs are absolutely serving it. Of course, they also serve death. Once upon a time, biologists attempted to tag and track these amphibians using tiny drone-transported sensors. It was an engineering marvel until the frogs hopped into the river, drones crashed, and every plan fell apart faster than a tourist's flip-flops. Lesson? Nature doesn't want microchips on its murder marshmallows. Overhead, a blue morpho butterfly flutters by aviation grandeur in glitter mode. Its wings shimmer like holograms, catching the sun just right before vanishing into shadow. You exhale. Maybe things are calming down. They're not. Something just landed on your shoulder. The incredible theme revolves around extraordinary human achievements, natural wonders and adventurous exploration, but right now, your adventure is praying that Tickle isn't another death machine with wings. Twilight creeps in like spilled ink, blurring greens to black, and suddenly your surroundings feel heavier. The air thickens. Sounds sharpen. A distant cough, not human. You freeze. Welcome to the jungle's final act, nightfall, when the real nightmares clock in. You flick on your flashlight. Big mistake. The beam slices through the dark and reflects two amber eyes, low to the ground, watching. A jaguar. The Amazon's top predator and possibly the chillest murder machine on four legs. It doesn't stalk you. It studies you. Jaguar attacks are rare, but in this moment, you're the weirdest looking capybara it's ever seen. You back away slowly, but this forest isn't done. A rustle nearby, and your instincts tingle. A giant centipede wriggles out from under a rock, red, shiny, armored like a monster truck. It's over a foot long and venomous enough to drop birds mid-flight. It doesn't chase you, yet. You move faster. You duck beneath hanging vines, but they're moving. No breeze. That's not wind, it's bats. A whole cloud of them, swirling like black confetti. Not dangerous unless one's a vampire bat, which, spoiler, some are. They don't drain you dry, but they do leave lovely little infection portals. Oh, and now you're itchy. Don't scratch. Night is prime time for parasites, botflies, ticks, and something locals call skinworms, which do exactly what they sound like. Remember that thing that landed on your shoulder? You check. It's gone. Sleep tight. And even as all this unfolds, somewhere in the distance, a small research camp glows faintly. Solar-powered, mosquito-netted, perched on stilts like a tiny treehouse fortress. A marvel of engineering defiance. If only you were inside it, drinking something that didn't taste like iodine tablets. Above, a silent silhouette cuts across the moon, maybe a spectacled owl or just another illusion of safety. Either way, that moment of aviation grandeur is all the comfort you're getting tonight. The incredible theme revolves around extraordinary human achievements, natural wonders and adventurous exploration, but let's be honest, your most impressive achievement is simply surviving sundown in this place. So, next time you scroll past a lush green jungle photo, remember every leaf might hide fangs, every shadow might breathe. The Amazon isn't just a forest. It's a masterpiece of beauty, danger, and survival where nature doesn't ask for permission, it simply takes its turn. You've walked where few dare, met the creatures most only whisper about, and made it back, barely. Until next time, stay curious, stay careful, and maybe, stay out of the leaves. End of script. Sweet dreams.